Howdy, y'all. For all those who don't know me, my name is Jace and I'm a sex addict. Each week I come on and answer questions with regard to my life as an addict or now as a person in recovery, in addition to just somebody out here learning what it means to be healthy sexually, within relationships, and just in life in general. I'm doing that through my film, Suddenly Celibate, which is a documentary that's been going through all of this process with me, as well as talking to experts across the country and some from international places as well, to really learn what it means to be sexually healthy. So today I'm going to bundle a few questions that I've gotten in because they kind of relate to one another. So the first one is, what is that on your bed? Which you can see behind me here. And what is on my bed is this guy. This is my little buddy, Thaddeus is his name. It means courageous heart. Um, yes, I am a 29-year-old with a stuffed animal. Yes, indeed. Why do I have a stuffed animal? That plays into the second question, which someone asked me what forms of therapy I've gone through in this whole process. I talk about being in therapy and everything, and they ask what types of therapy I've done. So Thaddeus comes from some inner child work that I've been doing, which really is so helpful. It's really hard. Inner child work's really hard, but it's really, really rewarding. And it's something that can be done alone. It can be done in a group. It can be done with a therapist. And really, it's getting in touch with your inner child, hence why it's called that. And for a lot of people who have gone through abuse or trauma during childhood, they're really taught to just act normal, to not discuss it, and they certainly aren't processing it, and they're not healing through it either. And that was the case with me. Um, and so now I'm trying to go back and heal that child who's stuck inside of me now that I'm an adult, and it's kind of a system of reparenting yourself, because when somebody undergoes trauma, it it messes up the brain. Things shift differently, and you begin to process things differently, and a lot gets stunted. Where normal development would happen, it doesn't. And so with inner child work, you can go in and start repairing those processes and the pain and the different things that happen during childhood, and really integrate that with life now, with trauma being recognized and handled. So that's one of the things that I've been working on, and that's why I have Thaddeus. I was trying to remember what things that I liked or that brought me comfort when I was a kid, because I was doing some intensive work and it was really sad and my heart hurt a lot. And I remembered I used to have like an insane amount of stuffed animals. I don't know how my mom did it because we did not grow up with money, but she always had these really great stuffed animals for me. And I had like my bed like a fort. They were just surrounded. I couldn't even see out over the bed. I had a bunk bed and I was on the top, and like I couldn't see out because I had so many stuffed animals guarding me and protecting me. And I always really loved them. So I went out and found a stuffed animal that I liked. Not like this guy. He's really goofy. He's got this crazy hair. And he's super soft and just makes me smile. It makes me laugh. And in times when I'm hurting or sad or dealing with the inner child, then I'm able to just go and snuggle Thaddeus here. And it's weird, but it really helps. It's so comforting. It's so, so comforting. So I'm really glad. Now all I have to do is keep him from my big dog, Charlie, who is the sweetest, gentle giant of all time and thinks that all soft things are definitely his for the consuming. So I have to protect Thaddeus from Charlie. But otherwise, this has been such a big help to me, even if it may seem a little silly to have a stuffed animal as an adult, but it's been helpful. Another therapy that I highly recommend to anybody with any trauma issues is called EMDR therapy, which is eye movement. Oh, goodness. I always forget this. Eye movement desensitization. I have to look up the other word. Oh, heavens. Why wouldn't this just be the first thing that comes up? and reprocessing. Eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing therapy, which got made fun of like in the beginning. Everybody was like, that's nuts, you're crazy, don't put any money behind that, this is just this crazy person. And then now it's been like widely researched and put into huge effect, and it's amazing. It's genuinely like magic. I've never undergone a therapy as effective and as gentle as EMDR therapy. And so that really is working to process trauma without reliving it. So again, when someone undergoes trauma, especially during childhood in those formative years, it alters the brain and the way the brain processes things. And it kind of, you get like trauma brain, where memories just like become shrapnel and kind of explode everywhere and hide. That's a very non-expert version of explaining that, but they can oftentimes be lost and forgotten, and maybe they affect you. They're definitely affecting you. So they're affecting you. You don't know where it's coming from or why, which was the case with me. And so this allows you to go back and access those memories, go back and access the trauma and work through it without re-experiencing it. It's kind of based on similar methods with like your REM sleep, which, you know, you wake up and you just go about your day, right? It's not affecting you throughout the rest of your day. So similarly, you know, when I would leave an EMDR session, I might be really tired because it's very emotional work, but it wouldn't mess with the rest of my day. And I would be able to see things, smell things, hear things, like feel things. I mean, it really, you get in there and back into the trauma without it feeling like it's happening now. So it's not scary, it's not as painful. And also, I mean, some things are just hard to access when you're talking about them directly, and you might not talk about things if you're just doing talk therapy because it hurts so much. So your brain protects you. You know, our brains and bodies don't want to be in pain. So there's a protection mechanism that goes into place, and EMDR kind of overrides that so that you can access those things, which was so important for me because I want a full life. And I can't do that if I'm weighed down by things in the past and I'm stuck there without even knowing it, right? So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to dive in, see where this stuff was coming from, and really work through it. And EMDR was a fantastic way to do that. I also have done talk therapy for years. I've gone to many different therapists, and some are better than others. You know, I used to think like you just get a therapist and then you're stuck with it, right? And like, oh, if it's not going well, it must be me. That's what I thought. No, definitely not. Like, shop around if you are interested in getting a therapist. Find one that really clicks, because when it does, it's a really fantastic, magical experience. And sometimes they're just not your jam, right? Like, I've seen many therapists and I gave it a go and it was just like, yeah, this is not happening for whatever reason. Maybe they're not in your area of specialty that you need focused on, or maybe just the energy's off, or their methods are not something you're looking for, or whatever it is. But I kind of was brought up with the mentality from my mom that, you know, I don't change my own oil in my car or fix my carburetor, right? I take it to a mechanic because I don't have the understandings of what's happening under the hood. I'm not an expert in those mechanics. So I take it to someone who is an expert. Same thing. I don't know what's going on up here. Like, I don't know what happens in the brain and how it all is connected to this and how past happens in science and all of the things. Like, why would I know how to do any of that? I wouldn't, right? There's like a whole area of profession and study and everything that goes into this. And I don't know. So why would I try to deal with things on my own when I can go to somebody who specializes in this and have them really speed up the process and do it in a successful way? So I'm a huge proponent for therapy. I think therapy should start like all schools should have group therapy. Like, I think everybody should be talking about things all the time. That's really the only way to integrate all different parts of us, is to have them out in the open and to really understand where things are coming from. So yeah, another one that I've been asked is what happened in my childhood that has me going through all of these things that brought me to addiction, all of that. And I definitely don't hide any of that info, but you will have to check out the film to get in a little bit deeper to learn about that, because it's a little too long and a little too heavy for this format. So you know, once the film comes out, that'll be there, and I'm happy to talk about all of that. Abuse is something that we really shy away from in this country, and it keeps happening generation after generation as a result. So more to come on the trauma and abuse side, but in the meantime, I've done talk therapy, I've done art therapy. There's dance therapy, which would be really, really neat. I've done my inner child work, and I'm doing EMDR. Man, heck, if it's potentially gonna help me be a happier person and live a more fulfilled life, I am all in. So thank you guys so much for your questions. If you have others or you got a new one, go ahead and send it in through my website, suddenlycelibate.com. You can track our progress there with the film as well. You can also check us out on YouTube and right on Facebook. Until next week, stay curious.